Hello, this is the Nasdaq, the US 100 M5 chart, and I want to talk about two things on this. One is the break and retest setup, and the other one is the market cycle that happened on this chart. It's so beautiful, so I want to talk about it. So I've marked, what you see is that the market has moved strongly up, and if you know a little bit of market cycle, you know that this is the trend phase over here, then it turns into a channel. Let me actually draw it so you can see clearly that this was that trend phase with the first pullback and turned into a trend channel with kind of, converging channel. That means that it will now this phase will end, and it turned into a pullback phase, which is, or you can call it a trading range, and then it continues again, pulls back, goes back up. So that's two breakout phases, and then it turns into a trading range again. If you think about the market in this way, it becomes so exciting. It's so easy to actually follow. Over here, then you have a breakout. The breakout turns into a trading range, not trading range, a channel, but then it does not really create anything, and then it goes into a trading range. So this is what I wait for. I wait for the trading ranges. And in this case, since it's been going up all this time, most probably it will break to the downside. This is where it broke out, and when it breaks out, I want to see that it breaks out with an impulsive, what I call the breakout phase. And a breakout phase will have, if it's a bearish breakout phase, it will have consecutive trend candles or bear candles, and they will be black. So there you go, 1 2 3 4 5 of them, and then it pulls back, retests the previous lows, and gives us that signal, and then it continues into, now this is the ideal scenario when we enter the trade. And the next phase also becomes the breakout phase, which means consecutive bear candles. Sorry about that. My wife always senses that I'm making a video, so she calls me. So that's what I want to talk about. So if you are trading the H1M5 method, this was the trade for you on NASDAQ this morning. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what I saw on the 1 minute chart. It's beautiful. And the passion that I used to have for Elliott wave is now gone to the market cycle, because this is much more accurate and objective way of analyzing the market. So here's that breakout, the one that we saw on the 5 minute chart. So here it breaks out, pulls back, gives you a signal on the 1 minute chart. So if you are looking at the market from the H1M5 perspective, you can also sometime drop to the 1 minute chart and do that as well. So this would happen during the first breakout of your 5 minute chart over here, and if you wait for it, then you have a signal on the 5 minute chart. But I want to talk about the market cycle. Here we go, you have the breakout. This is only a one candle breakout, then pulls back, and then the next phase becomes a breakout phase again, which tapers in towards the end into that wedge or the channel, right, which would indicate that the end is coming. And then the end did come, but it came back to the previous levels, tested it. Also on the 1 minute chart, what you see now is kind of a bullish breakout, which then turns into a channel again. So yeah, that's what I like about the market cycle, that it's very micro. You can see the things on candles itself. So that's your breakout phase, 2 candles that turns into a channel, and it breaks. So in this case, when it breaks, it's the resumption of the trend. And then what do we see? We see again a breakout phase, or actually this is not a breakout phase. This is a trend, a tight trend channel, right? So it goes, kind of breaks out over here, and then again you have this tapering, right? And that's your first pullback. And with your first pullback, you have your first signal, goes down, and then you have a second pullback, and with the second pullback you have a signal. And now you can see that the next low is not far lower than this one. There are overlaps. So you see in this case, when there was a pullback, that's your first pullback. It did not even touch the previous micro swing. But in this case, because it did not break the low clearly, the pullback is all the way inside this, your first indication that momentum probably is dying. And then it breaks out again and pulls back, and once again it penetrates this level here, which then allows you to think about it in this way. You see, it gives you that channel again. So what do we see? We have that channel similar to this and similar to this. This is that channel that indicates that momentum is waning now, it's going down, and then what do we see? It breaks out, pulls back, and boom, it goes up, and that is the market cycle. I have found throughout this year that if you think about the market from this perspective, you would have covered Elliott wave automatically in this. And then so think of the market in this with this concept, and then apply the pullback method and the banana signals. It works like a charm.